Morning everybody, Sam here, News at 10. I'm here with Rory again. He was so good on his debut that we've had to invite him on again. It's got nothing to do with the fact that Flav is on his way to Scotland, eh?
Nobody is available, so I'm like the last possible option.
No, I was the last possible option at one point. Then I made myself indispensable. That's your opportunity, Rory.
Okay.
That's what he's doing.
I'll try and fill your big boots.
But as we're talking about the news today, we're going to talk about the newspaper back pages as always. The results from the Premier League last night. One major shock result. Obviously, Leicester beating Spurs, and it was quite comfortable as well. Also going to talk about Sam Allardyce and Adam Pardew. Looks like both of them are going to be back in the Premier League in jobs in the next 48 hours. Everton and West Brom respectively. Going to run through all of that. But first things first, let's go to the back pages. Rory, young gun. We're going to start with the Daily Mail. Ashley double as United keeps City in their sights. Ashley Young with his first goal since May last year, and they were beautiful.
Yeah, incredible strikes from him. I think you said it when you just we just had it up. You said it's a Beckham-esque free kick.
Properly, like the amount of swerve, and it was at no point was Gomez ever going to save it, and it just curled further and further away from him. That's the main story on the back page there. United winners at 4-2 against Watford, a tough away game. We're 3-0 up. Somehow made it squeaky bum time by conceding 2 goals, but then Jesse Lingard sealed the win with an outstanding individual goal, and that keeps United on City's tails, because if United drop points and City win, they're going to be a 10-11 point gap before United play City in the derby.
Yeah, too big.
So even if we win the derby, we're still going to be 8 points behind. You don't need that.
Can I ask you a question about Jesse Lingard?
Yeah.
I saw, obviously I don't watch United the way that you do, but whenever I see him, he seems to be a really valuable, really good player. He picked the ball up practically in his own D and ended up scoring a goal yesterday. Such drive, such good movement, such pace, excellent finish. But on my Twitter feed and amongst some of my mates who support Manchester United, he gets quite a tough time. Is that fair? Or?
No, I've even done a video on it saying how annoyed I am at the amount of criticism he gets. And I think if Jesse Lingard didn't dab and he drove a Ford Mondeo, he would get a lot more love than what he gets. But because he's an Instagram footballer and people don't like... It's people not liking that side of a footballer, but it's what the modern day footballers do, some of them anyway. And Jesse Lingard, so many United great teams were built around distinctly average players, like Wes Brown, John O'Shea, Darren Fletcher, Ji-Sung Park. You need those players in your squad, and Jesse Lingard is that type of player for United. Plus, he scored in the FA Cup final and the League Cup final.
Whenever I see him play, he seems to come out with a massive goal.
Born and bred in Manchester from the academy.
Have you seen a picture of him going to I think it was the 1999 FA Cup final on the Tube? That's
quality. Absolutely. I love Lingard, and he deserves all the praise in the world for last night. Let's head to the next back page. Mirror Sport, all about Ashley Young again. Jamie Vardy, an absolutely outstanding goal. It was dinked over to him by Albrighton. First touch, stretched leg, lofted it over Lloris. That was 1-0. Mahrez made it 2-0 with another stunner. Kane got one back, but 2-1. Spurs drop out of the top 4. Arsenal are now above them with a game in hand. It's a big turnaround the last couple of weeks for Spurs and Arsenal.
Bad period for Tottenham. What's it, 5 games? What did we see?
I'd tell you, this is a horrible stat for Spurs. Any Spurs fans, I'm sorry for saying this, but in the last 5 games, Crystal Palace, who are bottom of the Premier League, have earned more points than Tottenham Hotspur.
It's just not the way it should be.
That is not the way things...
So they've lost more games already this season than they lost in the entirety of last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, you've got the Champions League, and you can see maybe Pochettino is putting a little bit more focus on there, because Spurs in the Champions League are a different team. They're so good in the Champions League this year in comparison to the league. But they're going to have to turn it around, and turn it around fast, because City, I think they're like 13 points ahead of Spurs
I think Tottenham would have to write the league off.
Yeah.
Tottenham don't...
Already by November. Yeah. I mean, and they've been toe-to-toe the whole way in the last 2 years, and that's not going to happen this year. Back page of The Guardian, all about Ashley Young again, so we'll move on from that one swiftly, because no one really wants to talk about Ashley Young anymore, do you? I do, but that's me. Now, in The Independent, they're talking about Allardyce, and I think that's where we're going to move on as well. So Everton are set to appoint Sam Allardyce as their manager on $6 million a year. Now, done a little bit of research, not sure whether these figures are correct or not, but for all intents and purposes, they are. We're looking at the highest paid football managers in the 2016-17 season. So some of these may have signed new deals at the start of this year. But Sam Allardyce, $6 million a year. Let's get some comparable figures.
Same as Conte.
Antonio Conte, he's on 6.5 million a year. It's about the same, because it's going to be 12 and a half. More than Pochettino at Spurs. More than Emery at PSG.
More than Benitez, when you think of what Benitez has won in his career.
2 million less than Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid. Only 1 million less than Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool.
However, if Allardyce manages to keep them up, which I believe he will, I don't think Everton go down with Allardyce at the helm.
Right.
So if he keeps them up, £6 million is money well spent, and it's peanuts.
Yeah, in that sense, because being in the Premier League is worth so much money.
Yeah.
It's about, I don't know how much you get in parachute payments now.
£6 million is something that you can write off.
I think you still get more for finishing finishing 17th, in the Premier League than you do for like winning League One.
Yeah, you do.
Which is ridiculous in itself, but I suppose that's the money in football. But any Everton fans, let us know what you think about Big Sam. One Everton fan we always want to hear from is Ped. And there's one particular thing he's not very happy about in this regard, because when Sam Allardyce comes in, so does Sammy Lee, the man who follows him. And I don't think Ped is too happy about that. Check out this photo. I mean, Sam Allardyce and Sammy Lee, it is a funny photo. He's literally Ped just sitting there trying to drink some bleach. I mean, Sammy Lee, I think, was with Sam Allardyce at Bolton. He was with Sam Allardyce at England. Everton fans, I don't know, with Sam Allardyce comes the whole package, doesn't it? So you've got to take the coaches that come with him. And I don't really think they'll care as long as Everton stay up now.
Allardyce has a formula. He has a team that will keep Everton in the Premier League. I think if that is the dream now, if that is what Everton are striving for, Premier League survival, Sammy Lee, I think you just go with it. I really do.
Yeah, so we've got David Lurch, Everton fan. Thanks for your comments, David, saying as long as he keeps us up, I'm fine with Sam, because this season is already a write-off. And that's such a... By the end of November, if you imagine the optimism that went through Everton Football Club at the end of August, the managers, the board have finally invested. I mean, what was the board think? Look, we've finally opened the coffers, here's 150 million. What have you done with it?
I know.
I'm not doing that again.
But the trouble is, Sam, they sold Romelu Lukaku, who was responsible for such a high percentage of their goals, and they didn't replace him. Wayne Rooney, as you know more than most, is a wonderful football player, but he isn't going to contribute the amount of goals that Romelu Lukaku is. So if you don't replace that massive part of your team, you're going to struggle. To this level, nobody predicted it. Do you know what? They've taken a very long time. They dilly-dallied in terms of getting this appointment with Allardyce. If they hold fire another couple of weeks, they might be able to get Pochettino.
Oh, jeez. What am I supposed to say about that? Flav, if you're watching, you're not watching.
That's for you, Flav.
Yeah, he's not watching. I know he's not. But someone else who's going to appoint a manager, West Brom, Alan Pardew.
Now there's your bleach drinker. There's now West Brom Baggies fans.
Pulis to Pardew, eh? Things can only get better, I suppose.
Well, you would have said that when I was at West Brom just before they wanted, in the penultimate. Well, it was actually his final game. Pulis' final game was against Chelsea. We put 4 on them. They were appalling. And the entire ground was very poisonous. They were desperate to have rid of Pulis. They were slating his football. They didn't want him at the club. And they would have said at that point, the only way is up. Let's get him out. The only way is up. How wrong they were.
Well, Gary Megson got a draw at Spurs, mate.
Gary Megson didn't do it, but I mean with Pardew.
Those 3 managers, though. Pulis, Megson, Pardew. I mean, you deserve to get relegated with those 3 managers, really, don't you? Pardew at Crystal Palace was abysmal in that season where he finally did get the sack, and it was just clinging on, a bit like Aston Villa for a few years. You think, why are you not going down?
Do you know, I've listened to enough True Geordie rants, and I've found him very interesting and very insightful. And his feelings, if you ever listen to the True Geordie talk about Pardew, he gets it spot on. He says he called exactly what would happen at Palace. He called it, honestly, a year before what actually happened. He's like, he's going to come in, he's going to win 4 on the bounce. Then you're going to win a couple of games where you go 3-0 down and end up winning 4-3. But once that's over, then it's diabolical. And the True Geordie called it spot on about what happened at Newcastle and what happened at Palace. And I don't think the omens are good here for West Brom.
That's exactly what Mohit's saying in the comment there, saying appointing Pardew after his debacles at Newcastle and Palace is moronic. And Fraser Wilson saying, how has Pardew got another Premier League job after how badly he did at Palace? And it's going to the point I'm asking, are Premier League teams predictable? Because we've mentioned this quite a lot on Ball Street. Sam Allardyce, Alan Pardew, Alan Kirbytree, if you want to throw that one in. There's a certain select set of English managers that just seem to going on
David Moyes.
David Moyes as well, going on rotation in the Premier League. Are Premier League teams do they see this as the safest option? Do they just not want to take the risk of trying to pluck someone like Marco Silva out?
I think it's a problem. I do genuinely think it's a problem. I think that there's a paradigm and a school of thought that will suggest that, you know, this kind of theory. You hear it a lot on Twitter. British managers aren't given a chance. If I was called Sam Allardyce, I'd be the England manager. You know, that sort of. And it's absolute nonsense, because all these English managers who have repeatedly failed and got it wrong on the biggest scale are currently back in work. Like, Pardew has gone wrong, employed. If I did that, or if you were to do that, if you were to honestly, like, let's take me and you out of this equation. Let's use Adam, the Brentford fan. If Adam were to completely mess up this stream that he's in control of, again and again and again, ultimately he won't get that job again.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's different for this select few of English managers. Really
Neither do I. I mean, it's a very, very good analogy, and sometimes Adam does get it wrong. But you know, he keeps. I don't know what it is. It's the charisma. It's the charisma. It's the
good looks. It's the boy's good looks.
It must be something like that. But let us know what you think about that in the comments, because for me and for Rory, clearly it's a strange situation. You continue to fail at your job, and somehow you get bigger and better ones off the back of it. I don't know. I think Premier League teams are just. They don't have the scouting network for managers. Whatever it is, there's clearly a problem.
It's lazy.
It is lazy.
It's lazy, and it's so uninspiring for those fans. But Moyes is the example. Moyes went from Everton, didn't win a trophy. Absolutely got it so badly wrong at United.
Yeah.
Spain was a disaster. Sunderland was a complete shambles. Get a new job, mate. How?
Moyes, if you're watching, if anybody knows exactly why these managers keep still getting their jobs, let us know in the comments. We'll wrap it up today for news at 10. Thank you very much, Rory. Interesting debate today, all about managers, but Pardew's going West Brom. Allardyce is going to Everton. Flav's going to get a finder's fee for that. He's taking it to Scotland with Stu to go and watch Rangers tonight. Good luck for both of them. Good luck, Rangers. Until tomorrow morning, take it easy.